Hey guys, weekend energy update, and I am pleased to report that we have some good news going on this weekend. Things are shifting for the better. Things should start opening up. There could be some like really good ideas or good opportunities or like blessed connections or like inspired thoughts or something that come to us throughout the course of the weekend that actually help us to make the choice or make the decision or take action to move ourselves forward and towards something and away from something else. Endings and beginnings are sort of coming up this weekend as well, but in the context of like this future focus and sort of like being inspired to move forward towards something and to release something else. There also could be sort of like an element of rewards or gifts that are being presented to us somehow this weekend as a result maybe of what we have moved on from or walked away from. So we do have some really like beautiful energy lining up this weekend. Jupiter, Venus hitting that trine. The moon is going to be in the sign of Aquarius as well, giving us a grand air trine. That's just pretty special, breath of fresh air, definite like vibe shift, and things should really feel much more uplifting and optimistic generally as we head towards the weekend. And there really could be some good things happening as well. Like I said, fated connections, really just meaningful, deep, real conversations, people being very authentic and real in a way that is drawing in opportunities, opening things up, and helping things to move forward. So all of that, you guys, we have a lot to talk about as we head towards our weekend. Let's get into our report of the day. Let's put all of this together and see what things might be looking like for us as we head towards next week and our full moon and eclipse. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, September 13th, 2024. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the weekend, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. In this video, we're going to be talking about the astrology this weekend, how we're closing out this week, and what our setup is sort of looking like heading into next week, which will be another like big astrology week. We're going to have our full moon in Pisces, and also it's going to be an eclipse. So we will be talking about that next week. But as we move into the energy of this week, things I do think should be looking up a bit. Of course, we have been navigating some kind of like heavy, oppressive, maybe like a bit dark and like worrisome energy. We have had squares to Saturn, we have had oppositions to Saturn, we have had like major black moon south node conjunctions, a lot going on that really just could have, maybe been a bit unsettling and kind of been pushing us to our limit. Well, I'm pleased, as I said in my intro, to report that this weekend, at least, we should get a bit of a break from that. And it really is like, this is one of those, especially on Sunday. Sunday, I feel like, is a special day. It's like one of those moments when, the stars are aligning, and I, of course, literally mean that, but also, what that sort of just means when we say it generically, like it is that kind of vibe, like the stars are aligning, there's just magic in the air, or if it's not magic, a sense of like something in the air that is igniting the spark maybe a little bit, or inspiring us, or restoring a sense of hope or optimism, faith, like belief, bringing in some opportunities, like opening our eyes and our mind to the possibilities and the potential of what could be. Very, as I mentioned, future focused energy that has us really geared and oriented towards the path ahead, what we could become, and what we've also overcome maybe to get to this point, and a sense of accomplishment or a sense of, reward or blessing or gifts or like something coming back our way for our ability or for what we have accomplished, as I said, in terms of our ability to move on from something, to let something go, to end something, to walk away. We have obviously been struggling throughout the course of 2024. Ever since we really started this year, I've been talking about how it has been sort of like a crossroads transition year, like the past and the future really coming to a head and having a lot to do with the process of having like one foot in one world and one foot in the other, at a point of no return in terms of something, but also not necessarily exactly sure like where we're going or where the path is leading us next, which is interesting because as we go through this weekend and as we actually have the second alignment, the secondary alignment that we're going to talk about today, which is a square that is happening exactly between Mars and Cancer and the nodes of the moon, North Node, South Node, Destiny and Karma in Aries and Libra right now. The North Node is actually in the sign of Aries, ruled by Mars. So that's important. That's significant. We need to remember that as we are talking about all of this, and we will come back around to that and get more into it later. But the reason why I'm bringing it up now, as we're talking about how this year has sort of been like a transition point between the past and the future, is because the position right now of the North Node itself, where it will be squaring Mars, is a man successfully expressing himself in two realms at once, which is another kind of just like energetic indication that that's where we're at. That's what's happening. We're sort of bridging like realities right now in terms of the past versions of ourselves and the world around us that supported that, and who we're becoming now, and the new belief systems we're evolving into that are changing the way that essentially the fabric of reality constructs itself around us. Moving forward. And of course, we are also in this transition of ages, and we're all going through like our own individual paradigm shifts that is also reflected in the greater macrocosm paradigm shift that is underway right now as well, which we talk about all the time on this channel, narrating the shift of the ages. And I don't want to get too caught up in that now, but you know, when we're talking about the nodes of the moon being activated, that's always something to do with the past and the future, where we've been and where we're going, and the next, you know, phase of growth and evolution that we are moving towards, and what we have to sacrifice, let go, and move on from in order to get there. And just very recently, I'm sure you guys are aware, we had a pretty significant South Node activation when we had Venus and the South Node and the Black Moon and the Moon all line up together in the sign of Libra. This is talking about karma. This is talking about the past. This is talking about what we've been in a process of releasing so that we can move on and go through this next phase of growth, obviously associated with the North Node in an opposition to the South Node. And now, and you know, that may have brought up some kind of like difficult endings, difficult loss, like really seeing the true colors of something, having to face maybe some fears about something that really kind of rocked our world for a little period of time there. But now I will tell you, whatever, you know, may have gone on this past couple of weeks along those lines, like difficult endings coming through, there is something coming now that is like the flip side of that, like the inversion of that, like the reversal of that, or like the reward for enduring that, for being able to do it, for being able to let it go, for being able to, you know, make an exit or like release ourselves from something. Okay. There's something coming through this week that is going to be uplifting us or making us feel good about it, or again, like maybe a sense of accomplishment, like success, blessings, gifts, like abundance, rewards. Okay, so we are likely to be feeling much better as we head towards the weekend. This week might have done it for us a bit as well. We did have, you know, as I've been talking about, the Sun Jupiter square. That is an energy that uplifts us also. Even though it's a square, it generally helps to restore a sense of, you know, I can do it, I can do anything, things aren't as bad as, you know, they seem, and the squares and oppositions to Saturn are separating as well. So we have been in a period of some restored optimism that's been going on throughout the course of the week. And as we head towards the weekend, it's really likely to just start feeling better and better as this trine between Jupiter and Venus draws closer and closer, which again, Sunday is the day. Sunday's the day when we have the grand air trine, and Jupiter and Venus are in trine all weekend as they like draw into their trine together. But on Sunday, that's when the moon will be in Aquarius, the third air sign, at exactly the degree range where they are coming into their exact alignment. Their exact trine happens on Sunday. And of course, you guys know how I always talk about how like magically the moon is just always like placed in the most perfect location to light up whatever transit's going on. Well, this weekend it happens to be this grand air trine that we are only having because the moon just so happens to be literally at exactly 21 degrees of Aquarius, while Venus and Jupiter are both at exactly 21 degrees of Gemini and Libra. You know what I mean? Like, if it was one day off, if the exact trine between Jupiter and Venus was yesterday, then the moon would be in the early degrees of Aquarius and wouldn't be forming the exact air trine. You know what I mean? Like, if it was tomorrow, the moon would be in Pisces and wouldn't be forming the exact air trine, but it's not. It's today. So, or on Sunday. So Sunday is this like special magical day. And that is also the day, like I said, when the Mars comes into the exact degree to square the nodes as well. So even if it's just something small, like a nice time or a pleasant conversation or like meeting or interaction or like some good news or purchasing something that you really love or makes you really happy, or if it is something bigger, like some type of gift or opportunity, promotion, bonus, like that type of thing is very supported in the energy. There's probably something that's going to happen that just uplifts you a little bit or maybe a lot throughout the course of the weekend. Blessed connections are super happening here as well. There's a very strong relationship emphasis going on. Venus and Mars are really kind of the primary planets of the weekend aside from the Jupiterian flavor, but really when we look at this grand air trine, it's the Venusian energy, it's the Venus energy that is getting the greatest level of expansion, right? Because we've got Jupiter, which expands things, and we've got the moon, like this is our feelings and our emotions, but they're both in the trine to Venus, who's in the sign of Libra. Venus is really in the strongest position in this trine because she's in her home sign. She's in her sign of rulership. So, and you know, I'm quite grateful to the universe for the way that this particular like light code activation, whatever you want to call it, is lining up and playing out, because we have been through so much in the Venus energy over this past couple of weeks. That black moon Libra, or black moon Venus moon south node alignment in the sign of Libra was like a really serious activation and release point, and a lot of people really, you know, I think just had to go through, again, like some things that really may have pushed us to our limit in some way over the course of these past several days or couple of weeks. And now we have like this restoration and expansion and like just like upliftment of the Venus energy, of the feminine energy, again, that seems to be almost functioning as like some type of reward or gift or blessing for what we've gone through or what we've had to let go of or what we've had to face or what we've had to sacrifice somehow, or what we've lost, you know, throughout the course of this past really, I would say middle of August through kind of like this point in September. So about a month. So it'll be interesting to see what type of things go on during this period of time, this weekend, and heading into next week. But again, like blessed connections, relationship dynamics, that's where I was going with this, because the Venus energy is so strong. And then we've also got the Mars energy very strong. We've got Mars hitting the exact activation with the nodes, the exact square to the nodes, and the North Node, the destiny point where we're going, is in the sign ruled by Mars, is in the sign of Aries. So with Venus prominent and Mars prominent, that's always going to bring up relationship themes as well. And then of course we've got the sign of Libra, which is about relationships and other people. So, and Jupiter brings blessings and good fortune, and the moon there, that's also our intuition in the sign of Aquarius. It's like almost this prophetic knowing. And then when we put the trine there, that's this facilitation, like trust your spidey senses this weekend. Like if you feel like you need to, you know, you usually go this way and to the left, but for some reason you need to go this way, another block forward and to the right, and you're just feeling it, like there literally could be something there that you're meant to run into that's going to change your like whole life somehow, or just have this like seemingly like magical or otherworldly kind of impact on your mind or on what's going on. Really like this is a very inspiring energy. Again, this is like the star card. You know, when you're getting a tarot reading and you see the star card come out and like the feeling associated with that, like that's kind of, if we were to to describe this weekend in an image, okay? That's what I would say. And it's also sort of the wish upon the star energy. And again, it's like, just feels like magic in the air. And it's funny because when I was preparing my notes for this report today, there's somewhere in here, and I'll probably get to it, but I was writing like, I feel like this day is sprinkled with fairy dust. It's just like, as I said, like the vibe that it's giving. And then I went back and did the Sabian symbols after. A lot of times, I don't know, depending on the day, sometimes I'll write all the planets and write the symbols next to them first and then start my notes. But sometimes I'll just do my notes and then like I'll go back and fill in the Sabian symbols like after I've already got everything written down, and then like I'll go back and put the symbolism in to like use it in addition to what I've already written. And I did that today after I already wrote that I feel like the day is like sprinkled with fairy dust. And guess what the position of Mars is? Mars will move to on Sunday, 7 degrees of Cancer, in that exact square to the nodes of the moon, destiny and karma, like this breakthrough point, like moving forward towards like some greater destiny, finally unencumbered by something from the past that we'd been attached to that we finally released and we're now being rewarded for. Like that's the vibe. Listen to literally the position, the Sabian symbol associated with the position of Mars, 7 Cancer, 2 fairies dancing on a moonlit night. And like we've got that moon in Aquarius, and I was feeling it. I'm like, I feel like there's like pixie dust or fairy dust sort of just like sprinkled on everything this weekend. And Mars, like what's happening, the action-oriented nature of things is indicating pretty much verbatim that very same theme via the degree placement and the symbolism that's associated with it. So there's fairy godmother energy out there this weekend, you guys. Mother Moon in the sign of Aquarius, rounding out, or not rounding out, but trining out that trine. So, and then with the Gemini, Libra, Aquarius air sign information, this could be, again, like blessed connections or interactions having to do with people, meetings, relationship, also business, finance, trade, again, like connections to others is really big this weekend, and amazing energy for negotiating and for asking for what you want. This is kind of like the silver tongue, like highly charismatic, very persuasive energy, ask and you shall receive, you know what I mean? And also a very large emphasis because of the expanded benefic feminine energy that's associated with this. Both the moon is a feminine. See, you guys, you're following me, right? If you guys have been following my channel, if you've been following along, you know that we've been talking about, and like a lot of the themes from my videos last week, I think it was, time is like blending together for me right now. There's been so much happening. I'm having a hard time keeping like dates straight, like how long ago exactly something was. You may be able to relate. But anyways, very recently, I've been talking a lot about the dark side of the feminine being like being what is sort of at the forefront and like what we are kind of putting out there and dealing with and having to, that was that black moon, Venus, moon, south node in Libra conjunction that we had, like sort of, you know, the toxic femininity or like the dark side of the feminine energy that may have been functioning in some way in our lives to keep us attached essentially to things that weren't good for us, or to keep us in like self-sabotaging situations and stuff, helping us to maybe gain an awareness of what we need to release, change, move on from in order to go through this destined path of growth that we're being called to right now, right, with the North Node and the sign of Aries. Again, that was a South Node transit. Well, now, a week later, or however long it's been, all of that like dark feminine energy that we've dealt with, it's been released, right? And now we've got the moon, because the moon and Venus and the black moon were all together with that South Node on, it was like a Wednesday, I think. Maybe it was last Wednesday or the Wednesday before, one of those. But that was all of the feminine energy, right? And now we've got the moon in the sign of Aquarius. That's that feminine energy. We've got Venus in the sign of Libra, that very strong feminine energy, with Jupiter, which is blessings, expansion, truth, like the light, the most positive and benefic planet in all of the zodiac and all of the solar system. And they're coming together in these air signs. And of course, Venus is still in her home sign. So it really is like the polar opposite, essentially, of the energy that we were dealing in. And this is like expanding the benefic, positive, like divine feminine qualities of the feminine energy field after everything we've been through. And again, like helping things fall into place, becoming re-inspired, super creative, super creative energy, super fertile energy, super abundant energy. Excellent, of course, for any type of, again, relationship dynamics, financial dealings with others. Meeting new people is very strongly supported here, but there's going to be a lot of, like, again, these are like stars aligned type of moments that we have going on. I have had a visitor today. My cat decided for whatever reason that he was going to come sit on my lap while I was recording my video today, which he's literally never done before. So he's been sitting there the whole time I've been recording, and he just got up and decided that he was going to go do something else. So that was weird. And there could be like some just strange or unusual interactions and stuff that are happening this weekend as well. Whenever we're dealing in kind of an Aquarian moon, there's always potential for things to be just like a little bit out of the ordinary. And again, that's kind of like, I don't know, the name of the game for how things might be feeling and going this weekend, just a bit out of the ordinary. Now, there are a couple of red flags just to sort of be aware of, although like I said, honestly, like things are generally geared in our favor this weekend. But whenever and I talk about this all the time, whenever we're dealing with Jupiter, it's like nothing new here. There can be a tendency to get a bit carried away. Things are likely to look very big and very beautiful and like fertile and promising, you know what I mean? Lots of potential that is presenting with this, which there actually probably is, okay? But there's no real Neptune influence going on here, which would make things be like not exactly as they appear. And there's no real strong Saturn emphasis going on here either. Like there's wide orbs right now between these planets, and the Saturn emphasis might limit things or restrain things and hold them back. The Neptune influence could, like I said, you know, make things not exactly as they appear, or add a level of like illusion or disorientation to it, delusion to it somehow. And there's none of that. So it's not like it isn't real. Like the good things that are happening in this energy, if they seem a bit too good to be true, this is one of those times where maybe they're, you know, really not. Like maybe it really is what it's presenting to be. Although there is just potential when we do have Jupiter like this, and Jupiter and Venus as well, for things to be maybe a bit excessive or overblown. I do think that people will probably be over promising, over investing, over committing, overindulging, like over speaking, you know, maybe saying too much about stuff. But again, there's something that is very inspired about this. It's yes, people may be taking a bit overboard, but I don't think it is in the way where there's going to be like a real like snap back or like regret or like having to like it causing like big problems, because there is just this added element of like this inspiration and this upliftment and this potential and this possibility and these like and also the nodal activity that's going on as well with Mars there. Like there is breakthrough, like the actions, the events that are taking place, what we're doing, you know, it is helping us to overcome some limitation that had been holding us back and make a breakthrough somehow in a new direction, moving forward. Again, like North Node in the sign of Aries, according to like some personal purpose or personal destiny or greater alignment with like our higher self, or a personal reinvention that's been going on as well. That's another dynamic of this. Like this could also represent like people finally stepping forth into their power, like stepping forth into the new version that they've been reinventing themselves to be maybe over the course of this year, that is finally like coming online, coming to fruition. And that could also be adding to a bit of like the weirdness or the strangeness that might be going on, as well as maybe there's some surprises playing out in terms of the conversations that are underway and how it is affecting or changing relationship dynamics. Relationships, again, being a primary theme here. Choices, decisions, whenever we're talking about, you know, Libra, that's the scales. Gemini, that's polarities, that is choices, that is decisions, options, Jupiter there. And then the moon in Aquarius, like this is something real. This is something authentic. Like this is who we really are. There could be some very like moving or significant or deep conversations that go on, that just go on for hours and hours and hours, but feel like they are only lasting minutes, where there are some very like significant or special connections formed that are related to maybe our next phase of growth somehow. It feels like, you know, some divine alignments are coming in, like I said, and people are probably as a result going to be maybe getting a little overexcited, maybe getting a little bit ahead of themselves. But it is going to probably generically sort of give good results across the board in terms of what's happening, or at least in terms of how we're feeling about things moving throughout the course of the weekend. And again, you know, trust your feelings, pay attention to your intuition. There is a level of prophetic knowing and or like telepathic connection also. That's another thing when we've got Venus, Libra, other people, relationships, Jupiter, Gemini, Moon, and Aquarius. This is a very like prophetic, very telepathic, clairvoyant energy. Okay, so some type of instantaneous knowing, flash of insight, just like epiphany about something also could really be coming out of nowhere. These are big ideas with Mars square the nodes that could have some type of literally like life-changing impact in terms of what the ideas lead to in the context of what we're going to do, because we've come to this place of understanding. Okay, very, very good opportunities could come with this as well, especially obviously you guys, if you have planets or, you know, important things going on around 20 degrees of air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, you may really be plugged into this the most and noticing this facilitation of things kind of falling into place. But there is just likely to be the sense of something generally for all of us moving through the weekend, peaking on Sunday, fated blessed alignments happening, enhanced levels of synchronicity, seeming coincidences, and then the Mars square to the nodes. Mars is action. The North Node is destiny. The South Node is karma. Squares are challenges, breakthroughs, karmic breakthroughs as a result of whatever this air trine is doing for us. Mars squaring the North Node in Aries, Venus in Libra, her own sign, ruling the position of the South Node, again, emphasizing these relationship themes, the Venus energy being expanded and blessed here after all that we've been through in the context of the Venus energy really going through a pretty serious journey through the underworld. The future is rewarding us for what we've let go of from the past, some type of reward for our willingness to let go and move forward, right? And also with this Moon in Aquarius, the way it's lining up and like activating this whole trine, there's also something about maybe re-embracing a deeper connection to our own authenticity, our own inner knowing about like the direction that we do need to go moving forward and what needs to be done to get us there. More clear, I would say, connection to like our higher self, and maybe like a deeper understanding of our kind of, you know, true purpose is something that we could also be finding ourselves awakening to or becoming acquainted with as we move throughout the weekend and this energy hits as well. But authenticity, the authentic self, an embrace of that, and the expanded opportunities actually associated with that if we step into that and move ourselves forward. Very, again, like future focused energy. The past is really nothing to do with the energy of this weekend. It's all about what we've been through, what's falling into place for us now, and how it's inspiring us to move forward, to do something different, to reinvent ourselves, and to step into a more like aligned sense of self-empowerment as we move forward through the fall and the winter and the rest of this year. And I will, again, like I'll tell you guys, I'm sitting here, I'm recording this video actually on September 7th, right when we have the opposition going on between the sun and Saturn, and we've just had all of this black moon energy happening last week. And I, like doing this, preparing for this report today and doing this video has been a pleasure, because it really does look like a gift that we are moving towards in the context of like where we're at now and everything that we've been going through. And it's just very nice to be able to see that despite how things are now, and you know, for you guys may have been over this past couple of weeks, there is a pretty clear at least break or turnaround that is coming as we move through the weekend, and we should be just feeling better about things for some reason, somehow. Okay, so I'm looking forward to this activation personally. It's also a hugely verbal energy. People are going to be spilling their feelings. As I said, you may find yourself in a conversation just like enthralled in a conversation with somebody for like hours and hours and hours, that you're like very mentally stimulated. This is a very, very mentally stimulating energy. And it just feels like, you know, it's been 5 minutes and you've been talking to them for like 3.5 hours or something like that. There is a true mental intrigue that is coming through here, and also in the context of how we are relating and communicating with others. So there could be some true like meetings of the mind coming through here in terms of people that are coming into alignment that are really, really resonating with each other, and it just like being like a very good, important, significant experience for some reason, somehow. Ask for favors or help if you need it. This is, again, like, this is whenever we've got Venus and Jupiter in a positive aspect, that's always the time, and especially if the sun is making aspect to Jupiter as well, and especially if Jupiter is in Gemini, that's always a really good time to ask for a favor, ask for a raise, ask for a promotion, you know, really like shoot your shot about something, because it's likely to go in your favor, just because we do have this greater level of charisma and magnetism and attraction, and everything looks a little bit more beautiful and a little bit more appealing. So you're much more likely to, you know, get your way if you ask for a promotion in the energy of like this Friday, okay? Or, you know, maybe even like Monday. Too bad Sunday is, you know, that type of stuff's not really going on, but it, you know, it could be wherever in the world you are, I don't know, but as opposed to last weekend when we had the Sun-Saturn opposition. That's like when you're coming up against authority. That's when like you really got to prove yourself in order to get a positive outcome with things. But with this energy, no, it's not that way. It's like people want to be giving. They want to be gregarious. They want to be open-hearted. This is a very, very open-hearted energy. So it's like, not only is there like a greater magnetic appeal, but things are also looking better and people want to give. So when you put those two things together, it creates a 2 + 2 = 4 situation in the context of having a greater aptitude to get your way about stuff, to make things, you know, happen according to whatever wish fulfillment you have in mind. So ask for favors. Also allow yourself to open your mind to potentials and to opportunities and to what could be. This is a sky's the limit type of energy that we have going on this weekend, and we want to allow ourselves to be inspired to reach for more. Okay, be inspired by life this weekend. It will lead you in the right direction. We are headed towards breakthroughs, and this nice trine that we've got going on, this nice little push that we have going on this weekend, is trying to re-inspire us into action that will have us taking successful steps to move ourselves forward towards something that is going to reflect back to us some type of fulfillment somehow. And fairy dust for all, right? We've actually got Mars at 2 fairies dancing on a moonlit night. And also, as I said, in an exact square to the North Node, that Sabian symbol is a man successfully expressing himself in 2 realms at once. So we're bridging the past into the future. We're making a breakthrough into the future. There's fairy dust, a little bit of magic dust being sprinkled on everything. In terms of the Sabian symbols of our trine that we have playing out, interesting symbolism there as well. We have the moon at 21 Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is a woman disappointed and disillusioned, courageously facing a seemingly empty future, which could strike a chord or be kind of relevant, I feel like, with a lot of people right now, because that is sort of giving the vibe of that Black Moon and Libra energy, South Node, Moon, Venus, everything that we were dealing with over this past week. And then we've also got Jupiter at 21 Gemini, a tumultuous labor demonstration. But then the position of Venus at 21 Libra, that Sabian symbol is a crowd upon a beach. And I feel like it's indicating, you know, we need to continue to have courage. We need to understand that although we may have been facing some rather bleak times, or just some things that we've been really struggling with, or that have been difficult for us over this past period of time, the relief is coming. We can like step back into the light now. The sun is shining on us. We do have an opportunity to maybe relax and to enjoy a little bit on some level. It may have been really tough. We may be really fighting for or about something. You know, we may have really had to face some fears, but now we are a crowd upon a beach, and it really is time to just kind of bask in the light and the sunshine after maybe a rough trip through the underworld. So I find it interesting that that is the particular alignment that we have going on for our symbolism today, in the context of that trine as well, and also the Mars placement. And that's essentially what I've got to say, you guys, for our weekend. Things should be quite bright and a little bit merry, perhaps. Get out in the sunshine. That would probably be a good idea. And yeah, I mean, get excited, get inspired about, you know, there may have been some difficult endings, but it's honestly like a whole new day. We're heading into Libra season next. That is a cardinal cycle. There are some big changes that are on the precipice of taking place yet again. We do have eclipses. We're in eclipse season. We've got this full moon that's coming up next week. And this is probably, it is just one of those special days out of the year on Sunday. So let me know if you guys have some things go on that are in alignment with what the astrology is reflecting. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. I'm going to get us a synchronicity card now. God, Spirit, Universe, one more piece of guidance or advice, please, on what's going on this weekend. That was fast. Oh, it says love equals respect. That's interesting because we actually just got this card last week. Like I said, our time has been blending together for me lately because there's been so much going on and I've been so busy. But we just got this card in like one of my last videos. I wonder if it was one of the Black Moon videos from last week. I don't know, but if it was, that would be interesting because like I said, this is sort of like the flip side of that energy. And here we are with the same message again, talking about love equals respect, which is obviously emphasizing a lot of these Venus themes, which are obviously some of the central themes of what we have playing out astrologically. The children of this world are given in marriage, Luke 20:34. God is love, and when true love in the heart unites a man and a woman, it is God joining a couple. When difficulties and arguments occur, dissolve the problem in the light of God's love. Love, goodwill, and understanding are the keys to all human understanding. Respect one another. Refusing to treat one another with respect will cause more harm than any other act. And it is making me think of the light of God's love, like this grand air trine with Jupiter and Venus in the sign of Libra. Like that's so much about, you know, the love, Jupiter, this is that expansion, Santa Claus, like Zeus energy, and then the moon in the sign of Aquarius, which is associated, you know, with the cosmic plan and universe and things unfolding according to some type of divine plan. So there you have it, you guys. Love equals respect, what we should keep in mind as we move through the weekend. And it should be a lovely weekend. So that's what I'm going to say about our astrology. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think that they would also enjoy this type of astrology content. Leave me comments. As I said, if you guys do have experiences or have some nice things happen to you this weekend that line up with what I was talking about, please let me know in my comment section below. I really value and appreciate knowing what's going on out there with you guys and how the astrology is impacting, you know, not just me, but all of you out there as well. And if you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I have a Facebook group linked in my description box where I post images of these boards. You can see that or find that in my description box below. That's where you'll find those. And come back with me on Monday, you guys. I've been talking about it. We got a full moon in Pisces coming up. That is also an eclipse, and we are getting like really into the eclipse energy of our eclipse season this year. And it's actually, well, I'm closing the video right now, so I probably shouldn't keep talking and talking, but the eclipse that it's a new eclipse cycle that we're moving into right now that we haven't had since 2006, which again, like I talked about in another video this week, but we're gonna have lots to talk about next week, you guys, and I will be here to talk about it. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you next time, everybody. Lovely, beautiful, splendid weekends to all, and until next time, bye guys.